to order at 8:05. Note that all members are present with the exception of Mark Anderson. Mark called me earlier today and his wife's father passed away, so I'd like to have a motion excusing him from the meeting.
I'll make a motion to excuse.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved by Mrs. Durflinger, seconded by Mr. Van Westen to excuse him. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Comments from the public on agenda items? Just a second. Excuse me. Go ahead.
Yeah, the possum living next door to my son up here on Harbon.
A possum?
Yeah,
In the Williams place.
Williams property.
Oh.
This thing is like 40, 50 pounds. It is.
Well, that would be a big one.
It is a big one.
I think
The
maybe
dog
you need to
is
take care of
scared
it. Maybe it's eating the cats.
There's a possum living in the Williams.
Yes,
And your son's living...
right next door.
Oh, okay. Does he have a live trap?
No, we don't have any
I
traps
don't
or
know that a
anything.
40, 50 pound possum could get in any kind of...
I don't know.
Steve, I'm wondering if you could call like Brad out here, Sykes, the Nebraska Game and Parks.
He's
and
not
see.
gonna, he's not gonna...
You don't
say
think he
that.
would?
No. He said he'd pick up a dead lynx if I had one, but he won't.
He won't
doesn't
come
wanna
across
mess
the
with
pond.
anything else.
Well, part of the problem is.
Here we go. A few years ago, well, quite a few years ago, actually, probably 15 or 20 years ago, we had a lady on the north end of town that had a skunk that was ravaging her property, and we actually voted to allow her to shoot the skunk.
Okay.
Does he have a .22?
We've got a 22, a 410,
Okay.
and a 270.
I'd rather you didn't use the 270. Yeah.
Not a deer, right?
I'll bring the tank.
Has the possum presented itself in such a way that he could dispatch it?
Yes.
Is he I know him because I've seen him at work. He seems like he could do that without spraying the neighborhood.
He's taken hunter safety and all of that, but
Okay.
we need to do something about the possum.
I would use the 410. I think the
Okay.
least threat.
Well, he's
Like across the street or something like that.
he's antagonizing the dog, which is in turn disturbing the neighbors to the south. Sonny.
Okay. That's not on the agenda, but let's...
Well, it's the Williams
But
property.
it is a crisis, maybe
Yeah.
it's under crisis.
It's the Williams
control or
property.
something. Okay, all right, we'll make it part of that. Well, let's make it part of that item then. Can we
Okay.
do that?
Yeah.
Come back to it?
Are
Alright.
possums rabid?
Yes,
They can be.
It could
They
be.
carry-
I'm not an authority on that, but I think they have been.
They carry EPM, which is
I
a
think that's
disease
not out of
that's
the
deadly
realm
to
of possible.
horses.
Did anybody, I saw other hands. Yes?
No, item number 7, what kind of compensation, what numbers are you talking about?
Well, we had some numbers last month. I don't know whether we've, frankly, I intended to table that item, but right now we're at, what, $185 a year?
$16.50 a meeting.
$16.50 a meeting. All right, and the numbers that Mrs. Rutt collected for last month's meeting were anywhere from 0 at Dakin for the year to something in the neighborhood of 1,000 or more.
1,200.
Huh?
1,200 for chairman.
So my thought was we would take the low and the high and throw them out and maybe average the remainder. And are these meeting figures here?
On the bottom, yeah.
Yeah. Reynolds is 25 a meeting.
Yes, and he said they were talking about going to
And
35.
Chester's 50, Milligan's 50. There's sometimes in the case of Chester, there's a little bit more for the chair. So that was my thought. I'm not saying we take the average figure. We might take a little more than average, or might propose more for an average. Really what I'd like to do is take this new information and go over it, average it, and come back with it next month and make the proposal. But it would be certainly less than $1,000 a year. I think $185 or whatever it is comes out to a year is other than Dakin, was the lowest on the list. Does that answer your question? Rick, you had asked Mrs. Rudd about something about the public meetings statute. Did you want to say?
Oh, well, I've had a few people talk about when we video, we put it on the internet so people can see. The biggest thing that I'm getting the comments back is Mark, when he sits there, he has his back to the camera, nobody can see him,
Okay.
and when he speaks, we can't hear him, and then he's kind of shadowing Jeremy too, and we can't really see or hear Jeremy. When they make any kind of motions, it's
Muffled.
inaudible.
muffled, you can't
hear it. So I was asking basically if we could ask you guys to kind of somehow reconstruct your seating arrangement so we can see, so we can fully hear what's going on.
Does your camera, is it?
Right now I've got everybody.
Huh?
Right now I've got everybody,
Okay,
Donna all the way
so-
over to Jeremy.
Okay.
So I mean, you know, if the table was to be moved
Well,
a
all
little
we'd
bit,
have to do is maybe put another chair around here
Sure.
in the corner or something. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's
No real big
that's
deal.
legit.
And the only other thing that I had that I asked Donna to put on there was nuisance properties. I had some friends come into town the other day, and it was really kind of embarrassing for the most part because they hit me up about the couches down here, down in the street, out in the front yard, the couches and the love seats, and up here on the street, up here, you know. And I had to, what can I do? Just drop my head, you know. I mean, it's really disturbing, and the village, you guys can do something about that for all practical purpose, and I think you should.
Won't the trash man pick it up? I mean, if he had some help, I think he would.
I don't think they'll take the couch unless they cut
Well,
it
they
up.
might not take all of it
They
at one
picked one up.
time.
My
Mom's
understanding,
really? Yeah.
my understanding was when we contracted with this garbage company in Hebron, that they would probably pick that stuff up. However, it would not be at the regular rate. I think I could probably call him and get him to do that, but it isn't going to be, you know, it's not like it's going to be my garbage. He's going to want X number of dollars for that. I don't particularly have a problem with that.
They picked one up at Mom's rental property up on 6th Street, no problem.
A big sofa?
Well,
Yeah.
but the thing is, there's nobody, well, I'm just telling you what they said at the time. In the one property, there's not even anybody there, so they're not paying anything, right?
Mhm.
And
Well, even if it took one piece at a time, you know. I mean, it wouldn't maybe have to all go at one time. Just
No,
take one
there's
piece.
Mess across the street by the Catholic Church too.
That's the one,
Yeah.
that's one of the.
Oh, that's the one you're talking about.
One of the ones he's talking
Okay.
about.
I thought you had that taken care of, that you were going to have that done last summer when you got her
Yeah, well, you got Bond's permission
to go on there. I thought you had somebody arranged.
Permission from her. Yeah, she said we could here at the meeting.
Yeah.
But you guys do have it on. But the people that were gonna haul it,
Maybe that stuff
they
that
want it
the
down in
business is,
writing. They
Oh.
don't wanna take it without it being in writing.
Being saved.
Oh, they didn't get it down in
Yeah,
writing?
she gave permission, but they want her to put it in writing.
Oh,
It's just, I suppose, a precaution,
right.
so. Did your
Well,
mom,
Wait a minute.
call and tell them that she had the big piece, or, you know?
No, I just told them, you know, 'cause when we cleaned out the house Dalton's in up here on 412, we just set it out there with the trash.
And I did a TV
And-
that way too, and they just picked it up.
They just,
Then the company we have now.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, I'm kinda like you, Steve. I do remember him at that meeting saying that they'd have to pay extra for
Well,
larger
I'm sure
pieces.
Mrs. Daniels, I'm sure Doris is right. If you put out a piece at a time, they probably haul it away.
Oh, yeah.
A pile, I'm not sure.
I'm not saying that you should put it all right there and expect them to take
Little
it
bit
all
at
at
a
one
time, you're
time.
saying.
But, you know, at least a little bit at a time, it
It's
wouldn't
worth
be.
a try, I'd say.
Yeah. I think
I think
they,
Disney, I think a letter should go to Disney's and.
yeah, because
tell them,
otherwise,
pick it up or we're gonna see to it. Otherwise, he will scream trespassing.
yeah, but it's been sitting there for how long?
Her sister?
Steve, We
Betty
went in
Boland.
one time and actually cleaned
I know-
up, if you
I know
remember.
that. I know that.
With the wind and everything, I got pop cans
Yeah,
and pop
letters gotta
all
go out
over my
before we
frickin'
start
yard.
jumping around.
Go to her house.
Okay.
But I don't know, you could give them,
And we built them.
10 days to remove the property, and you can send them a bond. Remove it, or we'll see to its removal.
Well, if he doesn't have a pickup, I know his brother's got one, don't he, Kurt? Maybe they could use his pickup to take it to the,
I don't think that's the problem, Laura.
oh, okay, I didn't know.
Mountain
I
Dew,
mean,
Mountain Dew and
Cherry's
Charlie.
Pepsi. That's him.
Cigarette.
Marge, would you do us a favor and maybe talk to Betty and have her talk to Brandon, who's renting her house over here, and have him go back there and pick up all those pop cans and trash he's got thrown all over his backyard. That stuff, when the wind's blowing, that stuff's blowing out in the
In
alley
my
back,
yard now.
back in behind her yard and back in
all right,
Jack's
I haven't
yard.
been down that alley, so I couldn't tell you what's there.
thank you for your input.
You bet.
I'm gonna call the,
If she knows that's there, she won't tolerate it. No, absolutely. I'll make a note.
Last summer I
She
said
doesn't know about
something.
it, she wouldn't tolerate it.
oh,
I said something to him about it last summer, about picking it up and picking the cigarette butts and stuff up. So, but
Yeah.
anyway.
call a 1 and 6 year road plan hearing order at 8:15. We talked about this last month. Essentially, we're in maintenance mode. No specific projects at this time. We are getting inquiries. I'm getting inquiries from people wanting to do work this summer. Or even before, so that's very timely. Do we have any other input or questions about that? Otherwise,
Unless, I guess, Steve, if there's something we think we need to come back with it, don't you think, next meeting, but
well, I think you've,
I know we have a big project that's gonna happen east of here, and we can't really do
Right.
anything with that road until,
Right. I think that puts the kibosh on most of our plans for east of the highway in the short term.
and you're gonna have Jim work with these people, is that right?
That was my plan. yeah.
Well, Jim, maybe if you get time, kinda, when there's no snow on, maybe kinda look around town and see what's going on, don't you think?
Yeah, well, we haven't, there's a lot of potholes, not a lot, but there are potholes that need to be addressed probably all over town.
Yeah.
To some degree. One of the companies that contacted me does the armor coating, but sweeps off the gravel and then puts a final coat of sealer, so it isn't loose gravel when they're done. And I like that
Yeah.
idea. This is an outfit out of Geneva that we haven't used in the past, but
Always worth a try.
so do we come back and approve something out of this hearing, or what's the normal procedure?
I would come back at the end of the meeting to finalize this 1 and 6 year plan.
Just say we
Yeah, it's just
we
normal.
don't,
made
I mean,
to
we don't have
approve.
to have any specific projects.
No.
No.
No,
No.
no, because it's just maintenance, Steve, but that would give people, don't you think, of time if there's something they think about if we leave it open for a
Okay.
while. Sometimes, didn't they used to say, Donna, to leave it open about 15 minutes or so?
Well, we don't want to sit here and
Yeah.
do nothing. All right, we'll leave that open, come back to it later. The lagoon project, we've got a whole stack of documents here, but essentially at this point it boils down to approving the land purchase, the land acquisition, in the amount of $205,411. To Smith's, and $50 to the tenant, Mr. Stewart. That's I've been emailing back and forth with architect, engineer. I'm pretty satisfied, pretty confident that what we asked for is reflected in the documents. As far as owning the access road, fencing the access road, we're talking about probably 2, 4, or 5 strand barbed wire fences, a gate. We may have to provide some sort of a gate adjacent to ours to the pasture. There were some issues about securing the pasture during construction. That has been written into the bid documents. It'll be the contractor's responsibility to make sure that pasture is not, if there's cattle in there, that they can't get out via our property line. So I think everything is as the board expected. This is the $210,000 less the $5,000 for the well. I don't know. I guess that's, if anybody's got any questions, I'd try to answer them. I have really had a dearth of comments the last week or 10 days, so apparently most of the questions have been settled. We've got the documents that, I'll just say that, the documents that the engineer architect submitted to the state and to Department of Agriculture have been approved at both levels. There are some things that remain to be done paperwork-wise, but otherwise it's a go. I mean, I don't think there's anything there that some of that's going to have to be done by Sand. After all, they are the ones that are being paid to administer the project. So I would entertain a motion to approve the purchase then.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase land from Smith.
In the amount specified.
Yeah.
$205,411 to
Yeah.
Robert Smith and $50 to Heath Stewart.
Okay.
Motion by Mrs. Sturflinger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Van Western. Any other discussion? Not a call to question. Jim?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Marge?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. I guess what I would ask you to do, Mrs. Rudd, is just maybe contact JEO and Sand and kind of touch base with them to see that they're aware of the things that do need to be done according to these communications. It would be the pits to have something hanging fire and ready to, take bids. Okay.
How soon are they getting started on it? On the lagoon? When are they going to start?
I don't know, Doris. They're hoping to have all of this paperwork wound up by the end of the month. So I don't know whether
they have to wait for spring, I'm saying, or
well, yeah. I mean, the ground would have to be thawed.
Okay.
I know a guy that was doing some work out here west of town for Buckley's, and the ground's too hard even to move it to
Right.
surface level right now. But
well, that's what I was wondering. If
yeah, I guess a reasonable timeline. I'd like to see the bids let and the project maybe ready to go by the 1st of April or middle of April or something like that. Yes.
I know that there was discussion over the well itself, and that was a lot of the debate back and forth. And so, my understanding is he's keeping the well.
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Smith's keeping the well.
Right, for his irrigation and stuff. But is he going to let us fill the lagoons from that well, or are we going to have to come and get the water from our well down here to fill lagoons?
We decided that we could, at that point, we could back pump from the down here
But would it not deplete our well here to do those up there? How would it? This is just speculation, because if you're back pumping from here, are you talking about back pumping from the present lagoons?
Right. No, I'm talking about
Okay.
using the new system and using the
Lift
pump down.
station.
Go
Yeah.
for the
The
lift.
lift
Putting
station
water
too.
into the system and then pumping it back up there.
From our wells here.
Off of the fire
Yes, it would
hydrant.
be, that's where the water would come from, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the engineer if that was at the time we were doing the discussions and negotiations, if you will, I asked him if that was a key issue, if that's something that we should insist on, that we get to use the well. He said it was actually be a nice test of the
To test the system itself. Yeah, well, I mean, is it going to, the stress that it'll put on our pump here, pumping that volume
no,
of
the water will
water?
just be going down there, and then the new pumps will be pumping it just like they would sewage. We can use a fire, the fire hydrant to run water into the system.
Okay. Just,
No, I don't. The only deal is that it costs money to pump water, whether it's for your yard or this project. But
Just a quick question, where are we at on that, on the time frame of where we went to the metered usage? I know we were gonna try out
when did we
for
start
a year.
billing
I was
water?
thinking it was April.
Was it
That's
April?
what I
can't
think my
remember-
receipt is.
Yeah.
I
And
can't
I've got it
remember what it
home.
was.
Yeah.
Are we still using less than,
Well, yeah, we have been since the last couple of weeks. I haven't monitored it real closely. I've had some personal issues, but we were. I mean, whether it isn't important how much we use, so much as it is after a year. The goal was just to produce the same amount of income under the new system, not more, but we can't afford less, okay? So we'll have to take a look at it then after a full year and see, are we long, short?
and then what, go back to the
Well,
$25 unlimited? and-
We couldn't, no.
Nice.
We may have to.
It'd be nice, but no. You gotta have
Probably
years.
won't let us.
We would have to, it's possible that we would have to make an adjustment of,
Increase?
I hope not. I would
Or is
hope
that
not.
possible?
I don't know if I could afford that.
I,
You know,
Queenie Garden.
a person using right now, if they're using 3,000 gallons a month, which would be more than one person would normally use, because Mary and I together use 4, so I'm saying
how
I
did
don't
we
think
come
we-
up with 6,000 on ours?
I play with the water all the time.
Okay.
Oh, that's a no-no.
You
No,
don't play with it all
I'm
the
just
time
saying, the
either.
person, I'm just saying,
Yeah, I
person
know.
using 3,000 gallons a month right now is paying less than they were paying before.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay,
So,
it's under the 25.
Mhm.
that is
comes-
correct.
Yeah,
That
if
is
you're-
correct.
It's just that when it rolls around and you want to water something, then it
I
hurts.
thi-
It
I
hurts.
think we're getting,
Yeah,
let's
I mean-
take a look. I mean, it might be, I think it's, there's just no point in looking until we got a
Till,
full
yeah.
year of
I
under
know.
our belt. Because
Yeah.
we want to have the full year to include the months that, all the months where we have people watering and all the months when we don't have people
Right.
watering. And then we can assess it. But that's a good question. I mean, I didn't know where we were either. I didn't think we were at a year yet. but-
Well, I knew it was coming up. but I
It's
wasn't
coming
sure.
up.
Yeah.
Because I've been here,
Almost a year.
well, I've been here over a year now, so I wasn't sure.
No, that's
Yeah,
a
because
good-
my first thing is April.
Okay.
I'm almost sure that's when we got our
Okay,
first.
let's go on.
The water bill.
Did we get a vote on that? We did, didn't we?
Yep.
Did I get a vote?
I know.
All right. We're going on to the Williams property. Before I forget about it, we're gonna address the possum issue. I would be willing to make a motion to let,
Dalton.
Dalton, thank you, because dispatch the possum with a .410 shotgun. I'm gonna specify that that's the weapon of choice.
Okay.
Is there anybody willing to go along with that?
Mhm.
Then I need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? I got one other request. When Dalton dispatches the possum, could
He
you have him
wants to
call me
hide.
and say, I got it, Mr. Digger, or
Yeah, he'll
it's
call
taken
me
care
as soon,
of,
he'll
or
call me as soon
somebody
as he
call me
can.
and say, so that,
So we can get it hauled off so that it don't
well,
stink.
even remember when I shot that coon over behind your house, Doris?
Yes,
That
I
was-
remember.
I think had,
Right, it was,
well, I think it was sick.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I called,
Right?
sites and said, what do you want me to do with this diseased raccoon? He said, bury it. So I took it out to the tree dump site.
Yeah, buried it there.
Buried it out there.
Maybe
'Cause
that's
he didn't
what
want
we-
anything to do with it.
Yeah, maybe that's what we need to do with this one,
Well,
or what? I mean, why?
it's pretty hard to dig right now.
Yeah.
Frankly,
Bag it
I
up
think-
real good and give it to the trash man.
I think you could take it up there and throw it in the fence line.
Okay.
It'd be all right.
Yeah, 'cause coyotes or something.
Coyotes,
run
yeah.
off.
Right.
If it takes out a couple coyotes, I could care less.
They died of
Now,
indigestion.
so let's call the question then. We got a motion, we got a second. Jeremy?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Jim?
Yes.
Marge?
Yes.
All right. Dalton's got permission to dispatch
Actually,
the
What's
possum.
mixed
I knew
master?
about the possum. I've been hearing about it.
I don't
It's
wanna,
really big,
I know I don't wanna
Yeah.
see a 40-pounder.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Going back to the Williams property, as far as garage cleanup, I know, well, just the
Yeah.
property in general, I know you made some
Yeah, well,
inquiries.
he was gonna go once, and then the wind was a factor in the other days, and I'll talk to him again and see if they're ready to, yourself, truck, or...
We'll have to coordinate with you.
We're still willing
I'm
to...
pretty sure he probably can't dump it.
Okay, I'll tell him that. He'll probably have to use his.
But I could,
Okay.
Yeah, well, I did tell him, I thought it might be, as to have to wait for Jim to go dump and sit there with his equipment, maybe it would be better to use his own, truck and take it on down and then come back and use his equipment again.
That's fine.
So I'll give him another call on that. And as far as
have
the,
him take care of it.
I've got, some, people coming to look at possible cleanup, putting it in the roll-offs. Well, I'll need to check with the DEQ for sure on things and see, I think it has to go to Milford, but I'm gonna check for sure.
Are we gonna get to burn it, or are we just gonna?
No.
No, we're gonna
Oh.
bear the expense of hauling it
No,
off.
I visited with Jim a little bit.
I thought since there was no asbestos left on it.
Well, but we have to be able to have the fire department do it, and the
And they
rural board does not want us to,
Usually.
them to use the equipment, although I think, Donna has talked to a rural board member, and I'm gonna talk to a couple more of them, and we own the property is the approach I'm gonna take, so why not try it for a little training? Because I
Yeah.
think there is some training up there myself personally.
Right,
Um,
so you have to
I
take it
know
all
it can be
apart.
burned because I have a copy off of the internet of what has to be done. You know, has to be inspected, you
Right.
know, and all that, and it could be burned, but it's not the fire department that's not willing to burn it. You
They'll
know,
go in.
they would like to burn it.
Yeah,
I'd even thought about contacting another fire department, and I'm serious, Steve, I talked to Jim about this.
You called
maybe,
me, didn't
yeah,
you?
and.
oh, we got Gilead, don't we?
Well, that's exactly what I was
Yeah.
thinking, Gilead. I wasn't thinking about Belvedere because I visited with the fire chief at Hebron, and I don't know if Gilead felt like they don't have enough personnel because Hebron is going to be helping Belvedere with the burn.
Okay.
So, I was thinking about Gilead, and I guess
Yeah.
I was one thing I was going to ask you tonight as board members, if, how would you feel about if I talked to Gilead?
I don't have any problem with talking to him.
Okay, I think that's, but I do have the Eagle boys, I talked to them again, and they will come look at, to see if there's anything they can possibly clean up. And then, you know, we'd have to have the roll-offs and
Looking at
everything
different
there.
possible or alternatives.
Yeah, I mean, they did a nice job, you know, the
Yeah.
other time for us.
Can I make a suggestion before
Yeah.
you go burning it? Maybe perhaps write letters to the people who are feeding the cats in that house?
Oh.
Well, how about all those cats, maybe little
See?
babies?
You know, I don't know, are they they taking any more cats down at Fairbreak, that rescue?
Nope.
No, they're full up.
I suppose
And
they're
they're feral
so,
cats.
I
They won't
suppose
take
they're
them
so
anyway.
wild that person can't get near any of them.
Dalton
huh?
counted 15 that ran into that shed the other night when he come home.
Okay.
They were in the alley, and as soon as he pulled up, there were 15 of them
Does
sitting there in the
Beatrice
alley.
are they no-kill shelter?
I don't know if they have room
Takes
though.
them from Gage County.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's out of the question.
And it's
I'm
it's
not
hard
taking
for
it
him.
anymore.
It's hard for him to take feral cats.
Okay.
They're so wild.
up there. I don't know
Yeah.
how you catch them
Did
anyway.
you take that to
I know that Jim, that garage across the alley from me, where Brian's got his vehicle in, the cats all go in there too.
And which one?
That one right across my back door, that garage, in
Oh.
the alley.
Oh, okay.
All the cats.
So there's a bunch down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not feeding them, so.
I mean, Capital Humane Society in Lincoln takes them,
But somebody would have to.
but
if there's-
they have their policy is a 3-day hold if they're sociable and they think they can be adopted. They
And
place
they
them up
put
for
down.
adoption. If not,
Down.
they put them down. And at least they do it humanely.
They do it
Yes.
with a shot.
Yeah.
Okay. I took one in this summer, and I can't take another one. Because
Right.
somebody actually shot the cat we took in, and it cost me quite a bit of money to have it stitched shut.
Well, there were 2 cats south of the house the other day. Could you let me know?
I will, if we burn, I'll talk to Mr. Haas, if we come to that point, okay?
Yeah.
Because at least you should check the basement and
Yeah.
those hidden areas there for little
And
babies.
when we do clean the
maybe.
building out, they're gonna just move, like the garage, they're just gonna move to another
Yeah.
thing that's there.
There'll probably be more there in the garage
Mhm.
that Jim
Yeah.
has, and, that's probably where they'll
They're just
go.
gonna rotate around
Yeah,
town.
they will.
Well, the thing
Any
is,
vacant property
Yeah.
we go into. We had them bad in that
You're supposed to have
house.
that boarded up, that's not my property, so, I don't say
Moving right
anything.
along.
That way the cat's got a place to go to, anyways, if it
Plains
gets cold.
Treasurer's Board minutes. This is, you can look at the bills, this is what brings to my attention that the Midwest right-of-way has been paid, see if I get this right, $15,152.50 on the contract of $15,400, leaving a balance owing of $300 some odd dollars. But we've got bills here for well in excess of that amount. The contract stipulates that should the costs exceed the contract amount, the board chairperson would be contacted to before any additional billings would be made. That hasn't occurred. So I would certainly suggest that we not pay any more money until we get clarification. Frankly, I think there's some major bookkeeping problems in Midwest, which this is not the first time that we've had a problem with in terms of billing. So I'm just saying that I would not pay that bill until we can. Well, there isn't going to be any
Well, yeah, if you're
additional
only
$2,500 because there was no
they want
discussion, no contact.
$2,700.
And they're
Long way
done,
to go.
Yeah.
so.
So in
Other
other
than
words,
that-
Steve, you need, on these claims, we need to take out that, pay him without that.
No, I don't think we pay them anything. We
Yeah,
pay them.
that needs to come out, right?
They need to send us a corrected
Okay.
bill.
Okay.
You look at this one I'm doing.
About a lot of phone calls on the projects.
What do they charge for a phone call now? Curious. What is it, Steve?
bill from Schwab and Bowers, all phone calls, correspondence, email, either to Heath Stewart, Denny Bliss, JEO, Stewart, engineer, Denny Bliss, one to me, Jack Bergmeyer. There are, I believe, 9 separate charges, which is fine. We involved them to work on the easement issue. I don't have any problem with that.
I just changed them as they go in the 2-year period. Oh, yeah, you got those. Sorry.
And I see we did get the bill from Hagen Hardware on the
Yeah, I was in there.
fire hall
Yeah, it
repairs,
went to the-
$81. I was
Went
wondering
down
if
there
that
to
would
the
show
fire
up.
hall, which is the fire department. And
Any
you
other
get a
questions?
copier, go on the receipt. I could tell. And that was a very good idea. This one page was just about, you couldn't read it.
We got
No.
a new copy with the
Yeah.
bill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah, and that, nice, the one
Not on
you
your
put
old
there.
bills.
Yeah. It's a good thing you had that one. Good thing you had that file, because I was searching for some figures, what you didn't know for me. I was lost. I don't know.
I'm hungry.
Oh, you're hungry? Yeah, I heard your stomach growling.
Yeah. It may take 2 shots.
Oh, look.
That was,
He looks like a puppy.
Does it have a
Steve, it's
family
good thing you
then?
had that old one, because I was searching on the new sheet.
No, I'm
the
just
figures
saying.
I
What's
needed.
on the
Yeah,
old
more.
bills that wasn't on the old
Maybe
bills
it's that
besides the
because
copy?
maybe
The
it's the
E-
cat.
And then,
No, they won't eat
400 and
cats,
some
but
more
they're
dollars
cat
on that
food.
Midwest right away.
There you go.
Well,
Because there was the bill and.
well, we're not paying them anything.
No.
We'll get the correct.
It's an old man and an old
Otherwise,
woman.
it's the same.
Drive
Yeah,
through
and
here in
the
that little
meat
gray
is the
truck.
bottom.
There's an
I
elderly
didn't look at the
gentleman.
bills, I'm
He
curious.
kind of walks, kinds of hunched
on
over, he's got a
propane.
bad back, slender, gray-haired glasses.
Jeremy,
His wife
the
drives
fire
around
hall, how
in a
much
truck,
was
rides
that? Yeah,
around in a
because
truck.
that,
He's got a
they
gray
stopped
haircut.
one day and that was
Fixed real
in,
nice, real proper
when he
all the
went
time.
down.
But they're here all the time.
Really?
When I walk around,
I know they
I
use a lot
don't
of
know how many
electricity
times I've seen them
It's-
make a wheel up there, and he'll get out of the truck and he'll
400,
wheel
yeah, not
over there and he'll
enough.
pour some
430
liquid down on the little doodad.
Okay, so that was that field where it was empty then.
Oh.
They live outside of town out here. It's just an elderly guy, his wife, they drive a
They
little
never were that.
There were some that
kind of
were,
a Ford
What's going on
small
down
truck.
there?
that were up to 4.
Extended
Yeah.
cab.
Well, I take my grandson to the bus stop, you know, I leave about 10 to 6, but I don't see it unless they've already been there and gone.
30-something, I
You know,
talked to
I mean-
the drivers.
Well, they're on off and on around town. A lot of times I see them coming
They
in.
never got that.
in the
Six
city
Creek
limits,
down
they
in
do
the
want
Tanners,
to
you know,
and they
from
read
right
the
now.
policy,
They
they
are
do
this
want
way.
to-
Just an old man and an old woman. They just have
Yeah.
they hit the phone.
So we've used everything.
Right.
I don't have a clue what
Yeah,
the name is, but I see them, they weigh all the time,
Yeah.
you know.
How much was this?
Sorry,
But he's the
sorry,
one
five.
that, I've seen him go through several.
Got a motion to accept the
Yeah.
claims treasurer reports and minutes from the
Except the Midwest.
With the exception of the Midwest. With the exception of the Midwest bill.
Yeah.
I'll make a second.
Okay. Motion second, any further discussion of the bills? No. Jeremy?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Jim?
Yeah.
Compensation, I'll take a look at what Mrs. Rutt, again, do an average,
Bring it back.
pretty much what I said, and then, we'll take a look at it for, action next month. Or no action, depending on what the board wants to do. Copier replacement, we just approved, $399 for replacement, so I guess that's moot. I mean, that's a done deal, which is cheap enough for, let me say, the other one was 12 years old, the old one. The summer mowing contract, I know it doesn't look much like mowing season, but if we wait and don't even discuss this until March, then we're into April and we are in mowing season. So I thought I would have done this by now, but again, well, I'm proposing is that, contact, Jason, before next month and see if, I guess, is he wanting to do it again, and if so, if he thinks he needs an increase or not. He's done it 2 years in a row for $480. Last year, again, it was it wasn't a fairly dry year, it was a dry year, but I was very satisfied overall. I'm sure somebody can find fault someplace, but I thought he did a pretty good job in the main last year. Every time I thought I needed to call him, it got done without having to do that. So I was watching it. He doesn't do always the best down around the south well house. The weed eater's kind of foreign to his hand, I guess. But overall, for the money we're paying, I think we're getting a pretty good deal. If he thinks he's got to have significant dollars difference, then I thought I'd get a hold of Mrs. Rutt. We'd have to put something in the paper and see if solicit proposals like we did before. But I could see maybe a 5% increase without, I mean, you're talking $25 roughly a month. Anybody
I mean,
have
gas
a-
does go up, and, you know, and so,
Well,
And
just the
oil.
cost, the old cost
Yeah.
of living increase thing. I mean, 480, he's done it 2 years in a row. I'd ask him to do it 3rd year in a row for the same money is maybe asking quite a lot, but not asking for a decision tonight, just asking, does anybody have any other thoughts? We'll try to have more information for next month.
Yeah, see what you can.
I think some of the things that we did last year, like leaving the ballpark for haying, and the same with part of the down south park, I think that worked out great. Mr. Buckley did contact me and say he was interested in those poles, since it doesn't appear that Bob Bertram will be taking them, and I said that's fine. So, okay. We talked a little bit about street repairs. Jim's willing to be the point of contact for these people, because I think I'm going to be, at some point, going to be pretty busy with, well, I'm already pretty busy with this lagoon project. And as much as I'd like to get east of town, I don't think this is going to work out this summer because of the sewer thing. Alan, do you have anything to report?
Mr. Chairman, I really, everything seems to be going great. No water leaks, nothing, with the ground heaving and stuff. I thought maybe we might have a break or something, but we haven't had. I think the last time we had anybody here was Roger Peterson over there. We haven't had, so we can kind
I
of.
thought when the cracks started opening up, we maybe
I did
would have
too, but-
something break, but
It got really cold, boy, I was crossing my fingers. That's when they fell.
But, the samples, everything's been coming back good, so we just keep our fingers crossed, and that's basically all I have, Mr. Chairman.
anybody else got anything? Go good in the order. Okay.
The 1 and 6 year plan. Oh, we
Oh,
did
come
go
back
to
to
that, yes.
thank
Thanks,
you.
Donna.
Come back to the 1 and 6 year plan. Come out of the hearing, and somebody want to make a motion to approve the plan for just unspecified maintenance. Thank you, Jeremy.
I'll move that.
Second.
I'll make a second, we approve the 1 and 6 year road
Motion
plan.
to second. Any further discussion? Any specific projects, of course, will. I think, I'll repeat, some of these guys think that whoever the point of contact is, whether it's me or you, they'll say, well, be a good thing to do it now. No, we can't make, we just
Yeah.
can't make a decision outside of that.
And they know that.
Well, but they
Shit.
keep trying to,
Yeah.
now's the time to do this, now's the time to do that, and I've got a load of this, and I've got a load of that.
Yeah, that's the biggest story, I got it on there. And
All right, Motion to adjourn.
That's too late.
Wait a
No,
minute.
you didn't.
Call a
Okay.
question on,
Mhm.
the,
Yeah, 1 year.
1 to 6 year report. Marge?
Yes.
Jim?
Yeah.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Yes. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion, we adjourn.
Okay. Motion
Thought it
by
was more than that.
Jeremy here, second by
It was 1,500 for that,
Jeremy.
I think.
Really?
Call the question. Marge?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
See? But now, here, I'm gonna come in and put all that stuff